What's going on, everyone? So one of my favorite signings from the Lakers this offseason was Taurean Prince because he is a guy that the Lakers have been looking for quite some time. A legit 3-and-D guy that can play and defend multiple positions. He's still only 29 years old, so there's a lot of potential and a lot of just playing time that he could have over the years if it works out and he's willing to stay with the Lakers. But even this year, I think he's a guy that can have a real impact, a guy that can really kind of just help add some stability to this Lakers roster, right? And that is something that I think is very important. He's 6'7", 6'8" size. He's got like a 6'11" wingspan, so he's got good size, good length. He's a guy that's not afraid of the moment, right? He's a guy that we've seen hit big shots. I mean, even last year, he was hitting huge shots for Minnesota. And he was coming off of the bench for Minnesota, but he was getting quality play time in big games because he was so good for them. Like, you couldn't take him off the court, right? Like, last year, he averaged 22 minutes per game. And in that time, he averaged 9 points, 2.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, half a steal, half a block. But it was, again, the stability that he brought to Minnesota that I think is going to translate well with the Lakers. This is a guy that has consistency also, right? He's 38% three-point shooter for his career, 37.2, but he's basically been 41% or 38% or better the last 3 years. He shot 41.5% on 4 attempts per game with Cleveland back in 2020, 2021. And I think with this Lakers roster, I really think he's going to be a 40% three-point shooter. I really do, or pretty close, because he's going to get a lot of just open looks, open opportunities, and it's going to be up to him to knock them down. But I think with that, just with the playmaking that the Lakers have with Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, obviously LeBron James, even Anthony Davis being able to pass out of the post, right? Like, you have several guys on this roster that is going to just make life really easy for Taurean Prince. And I really do think he's going to have a solid impact. He's a guy that can play the small forward position, that can play the power forward position. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think they should even have him play the 2 guard at times, right? In today's NBA, with this positionless basketball and all that stuff, the 3 guard and the 2 guard are essentially the same thing, right? And Taurean Prince has played more 4 over the more recent years, right? Especially with, Minnesota, played the 4 with Cleveland and Brooklyn. But Atlanta, he was solely a small forward. That's what he was. I mean, the most games, he played 82 games and started 82 games for Atlanta at the small forward position, playing 30 minutes per game. And it was also his best season, in which he averaged 14 and 5 with 3 assists, a steal, and a block. So he's a guy that, if given the opportunity, can really deliver and really can stand out and have big moments in big games. But him and his ability to play the 3, I think he can easily just shift over and play the 2, right? Because what's the difference? You guard the guy in front of you and you hit the open shot, right? Like, you have Austin Reeves, who the ball is going to be in his hands primarily. You have LeBron James, where the ball is going to be in his hands primarily. You have D'Angelo Russell, where the ball is going to be in his hands primarily, right? Even Gabe Vincent, when he's coming off the bench, will probably have the ball in his hands, right? So we're not looking at a shooting guard in the sense of like an Anthony Edwards or something like that, where, you're giving the ball to Taurean Prince and he's going to work, right? And he's got to, do all this fancy stuff and try to get, no, he's basically going to be a catch and shoot guy and defend the perimeter, right? And that's what the Lakers really need. And I love that the Lakers were able to sign him because he got, again, good size, good length, and his ability, yes, to play the 3. But you look at this roster and it's like, you have so many players and so many pieces that play the 3 and the 4. And the Lakers plan on having Anthony Davis play the 4 more. And you're going to have Rui Hachimura. You're going to have Jared Vanderbilt, right? Those 3 guys are going to need to get their run and their opportunity. And it's like, well, what do you do with Taurean Prince? I think the 2 guard is where he could fluctuate between the 2, 3, and 4 and really kind of just get his playing time playing several different positions. Right? At the end of the day, Taurean Prince is a baller, right? He's a basketball player. He knows his role, he understands his role, he accepts his role, and he's willing to do whatever is asked of him. And that's what Darvin Ham has talked all about, right? Like, I want basketball players. I want guys that, that aren't like, oh no, I'm only going to be a power forward, or I'm only going to do this, or I'm only going to do that. He wants guys that can do and just go out and hoop. And I imagine Darvin Ham is going to have lineups out there where it isn't really a position. It's just these 5 guys go out there and play basketball, right? Like, yes, maybe you have LeBron or Reeves on the court and they're the primary ball handlers, so they're the point guard, but they're surrounded by a bunch of, 6'8" guys, right? Like, I could see that. I could even see a lineup where LeBron is like the point guard. I know he doesn't want to play it much, but it would be good to get a look like that of like, LeBron playing point. You have like Prince at the 2, Vando at the 3, Rui at the 4, and, Hayes at the 5 or something like that. Or have LeBron play the point 5, right? Like something like that. And you have Prince and, Christie or whatever, right? Like there's so many different interchangeable lineups that you could do with this roster. And that's what I like about Taurean Prince, is him being that veteran presence that can come in. And he's not a vet in the sense of like, he's 36, 37, something like that. So he's still young enough to have an impact. But he's a guy that has experience, that has been in playoffs, that has, again, hit big shots. He hit a big shot, several big shots against the Lakers last season. And him making that switch from the Timberwolves to the Lakers, I think he's going to be one of the guys that has a massive impact for the Lakers. And by that, I don't necessarily mean he's going to be, like a 15-5 guy or anything like that. There is more to the game of basketball than just the box score, right? And there are guys that have large impacts beyond the box score. And that's what I think Taurean Prince will be. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to get after it, that's going to show up to work day in and day out, be a locker room guy, be a presence, be a stabilizer, be a guy that whatever you need from me, coach. Hey, you need me to play the shooting guard? No problem. You need me to play the 3? No problem. You need me to play the 4? No problem. But how do you get him his minutes, again, with Rui, with LeBron, with Anthony Davis, with Cam Reddish, with all of these guys, like having him play some time at the 2 behind Austin Reeves, or, the Lakers want to have Austin Reeves play the point more, right? Have Reeves at the point, and you could put Taurean Prince at the 2. And then have like a Jared Vanderbilt at the 3, especially if he really has improved his 3-point shooting. I would love to see a lineup of like Reeves, Prince, Vando, Rui, and Hayes. Right? Like, what does it look like without LeBron and AD on the court? Like, is that a unit that can compete and actually make some noise? You got Jared Vanderbilt, Taurean Prince, Rui Hachimura, and Austin Reeves defending the perimeter. Rui Hachimura is more than capable of defending size also, as we saw. Right? He did a great job against like Karl Anthony Towns, did a great job against Jokic when they were trying to use that size and try to back him down and stuff. And he's just so big and got such a good lower sense of gravity. And he just was an immovable force at times, right? And so, again, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with having this positionless basketball with this Lakers roster. Where, like, on paper, yes, he's the shooting guard, but he's just playing the role. He's a 3-and-D guy, right? Like, coach, what do I do at the 2 guard? The same thing you do at the 4 and the 3. Catch the ball, shoot it, put it in the basket, defend the guy in front of you. I don't think that's too much to ask. And the only reason I'm even like harping on this a little bit is because I've mentioned it before and I've gotten pushback from people, like, oh, he's played the 4. But it's what role is he playing in that 4 spot, right? What is he playing? He's playing a 3-and-D guy. Defend the guy, hit the 3-point shot. He's not playing a back-to-the-basket role where he needs to, they're dumping it down to him on the low block and he's posting up the defender no, he's not. He's playing the shooting guard role, just shifted over to the power forward, which is what the NBA is today. Most power forwards are 6'6" to 6'8", and they usually stretch the floor and defend, right? Like, that's what it is. They're basically just another small forward, right? So that way you can have the switchability and you can, basically switch all 5 constantly and stuff like that. And I think you're going to be able to get a lot of those lineups. But I think that Taurean Prince and his experience, his leadership, his just presence and not being afraid of the moment. Like, he's a guy that you can, games on the line, 3 seconds left. We need a big shot. Let's throw Taurean Prince out there, right? Let's get him out there. You could even draw up the play for him. And he's not afraid. He's going to hit that shot, right? Like, that's the kind of guys that this Lakers team needs. I love the youth. I love just the roster that we put together, the young talent that we have for now and the foreseeable future. I love that. But you need these guys. You need the Taurean Princes of the world if you really want to contend, right? Like KCP, Aaron Gordon, like those kind of guys where they're still young enough to really play minutes, have an impact, but have that experience, can do a little bit of everything, can play multiple positions, can do several things. Like even Denver was playing Aaron Gordon at the 5 and went small rather than playing a Thomas Bryant and stuff like that. Like, I just think that Taurean Prince is that guy that every team that wants to win and contend needs that, right? You need that 3-and-D defensive guy. You need that guy that is going to be calm in a big moment, right? Like, and that's what I think Taurean Prince brings. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of Taurean Prince? You high on him? Are you not? You think that he was a solid pickup? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it, so let me know down in the comments.